After years of facing brutal hostility from the Sanremo press, Il Volo has finally walked away from the traditional concert circuit. Instead of fighting for approval on stage, they've traded grueling world tours for the silent, controlled prestige of Giorgio Armani. This isn't a retirement. It's a calculated transformation into untouchable icons. What happens when the world's most criticized vocalists exchange public exhaustion for tailored exclusivity? Il Volo, the globally recognized operatic pop trio composed of Piero Barone, Ignazio Boschetto, and Gianluca Ginoble, appears to be stepping into an entirely new era where relentless touring schedules and the chaos of public performance are replaced by the hushed elegance of the fashion world and the carefully curated prestige of Italian luxury culture. And to understand this transformation, we have to revisit the moment when the pressure reached its breaking point, because for years the trio stood at the center of an intense cultural debate surrounding operatic pop, especially within Italy's famously opinionated music press, where critics frequently questioned the authenticity of crossover artists, and where every appearance at the legendary Sanremo Music Festival became both a triumph and a battleground. And it was during the turbulent press interactions surrounding the 2024 and 2025 festival cycles that observers began to notice a visible fatigue, not only in the trio's responses, but in the broader narrative surrounding their career, as interviews became increasingly confrontational, and as media commentary turned the group's success into a symbol of the ongoing clash between classical tradition and modern commercial entertainment. And while international audiences continued to celebrate the powerful voices of Piero Barone, Ignazio Boschetto, and Gianluca Ginoble, the constant pressure of defending their artistic legitimacy within their home country began to take an emotional toll because the cycle was relentless. New concerts meant new criticism, new releases meant new debates, and the stage that once symbolized triumph increasingly became a place where the trio was forced to prove themselves again and again. And it is precisely at this intersection of exhaustion, scrutiny, and reinvention that the pivot towards silent luxury begins to make sense, because rather than continuing to fight for approval within a volatile music media environment, the trio appears to have chosen a path that removes them from the battlefield entirely and replaces it with a domain where control, elegance, and narrative authority belong to the artist rather than the critic. And that domain is the world of Italian high fashion, where prestige is cultivated through craftsmanship, heritage, and visual storytelling, and where public appearances are carefully orchestrated moments of symbolism rather than unpredictable live performances. And according to industry insiders, the transformation began quietly, with a series of private discussions involving representatives from the legendary fashion house founded by Giorgio Armani, a designer whose name has become synonymous with understated power and timeless elegance. And these early meetings reportedly reframed the trio not as touring entertainers, but as visual muses capable of embodying the refined aesthetic values that define modern Italian luxury. And this shift from performer to icon represents a profound redefinition of identity, because on the concert stage, every performance invites comparison, critique, and real-time judgment, whereas within the controlled environment of couture fashion, each image, each appearance, and each campaign is crafted with meticulous precision, ensuring that the narrative surrounding the artist remains aligned with elegance, authority, and exclusivity. And as the trio embraced this new aesthetic direction, their public image began to evolve dramatically, replacing the dramatic stage costumes of operatic performance with the architectural silhouettes and minimalist sophistication associated with the Armani aesthetic. And the result was a visual metamorphosis that positioned Il Volo not merely as singers, but as ambassadors of Italian cultural heritage, representing the intersection of music style and craftsmanship on global platforms such as Milan Fashion Week and Paris Fashion Week, where their presence alongside designers, models, and cultural tastemakers signaled a new chapter in which the trio's influence extended far beyond the boundaries of the music industry, and the psychological impact of this transformation cannot be overstated, because by entering the curated universe of luxury fashion, the artists effectively gained a layer of symbolic protection, often described by cultural analysts as aesthetic armor, a phenomenon in which association with prestigious artistic institutions reframes public perception, shifting attention away from controversy and toward admiration for craftsmanship and design. And this protective aura allowed the trio to reclaim a sense of dignity and creative control after years of navigating a media environment where even their greatest achievements were sometimes overshadowed by relentless debate. And as the transformation unfolded, another compelling factor began to emerge: the economics of exclusivity. Because while global touring remains one of the most demanding and expensive business models in the entertainment industry, requiring enormous logistical infrastructure from travel crews and stage production to venue rentals and marketing campaigns, luxury brand partnerships operate according to an entirely different economic philosophy, one built on scarcity, prestige, and high-margin cultural visibility. And within this framework, a carefully curated campaign or ambassador role can generate immense value without the physical strain of performing night after night across dozens of cities. And for artists whose vocal health is essential to their long-term legacy, the appeal of such a model becomes increasingly clear, because it allows them to maintain public relevance while preserving the very instrument that made them famous in the first place. And perhaps the most intriguing dimension of this shift lies in the way exclusivity reshapes audience perception, because when appearances become rare and highly curated, each moment carries greater symbolic weight, transforming the trio's presence into a cultural event rather than a routine tour stop. And this scarcity not only enhances the prestige of the artists themselves, but also strengthens the narrative that they have transcended the limitations of the traditional music industry, evolving instead into global representatives of Italian-style sophistication and artistic heritage. And as analysts examine this transformation, many see it as part of a broader trend within contemporary celebrity culture, where musicians increasingly expand their identities beyond sound into visual storytelling, fashion, and lifestyle influence, creating multidimensional brands capable of thriving across multiple industries. And for Piero Barone, Ignazio Boschetto, and Gianluca Ginoble, the embrace of luxury fashion does not necessarily signal the end of their musical journey, but rather the evolution of their legacy into something more enduring than the fleeting applause of a single concert. Because by aligning themselves with the timeless craftsmanship associated with Italian tailoring and the visionary design philosophy of Giorgio Armani, they are embedding their identity within a cultural narrative that celebrates excellence, heritage, and artistic discipline across generations. And within that narrative, the trio is no longer simply a group of vocalists seeking validation from critics, but a trio of cultural ambassadors representing the enduring elegance of Made in Italy, creativity on the global stage. And if you love the voices, the journey, and the extraordinary legacy of Il Volo, make sure you subscribe to this channel right now, because if you love Il Volo music, you will not want to miss the next celebrity documentary revealing the hidden strategies, controversies, and reinventions shaping the future of Piero Barone, Ignazio Boschetto, and Gianluca Ginoble. YouTube description: why would Il Volo abandon the traditional concert stage? In this celebrity documentary, we explore the dramatic transformation of Il Volo, the operatic pop trio featuring Piero Barone, Ignazio Boschetto, and Gianluca Ginoble. After years of global touring and facing intense criticism within the Italian media landscape, the group appears to be shifting their focus toward the world of luxury fashion, Italian craftsmanship, and cultural influence. From the pressure of Sanremo press controversies to appearances at elite fashion events and collaborations tied to the iconic Armani aesthetic, this story reveals how the trio may be redefining their legacy beyond the traditional music industry. If you love Il Volo music, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more celebrity documentary stories.